Welcome to In With the Podcast, where we let go of stuff that's no longer helpful and we make space for what really matters. Out with the old, in with the you. What's up? I am Jenna. Hi. How's it going? It's chilly here today. I've got my blankie if you're watching me on video, which if you haven't, check that out. By the way, I've got my little YouTube situation going on. It's been fun to experiment with that. So you can click on over to there. But if you're just listening to me in your little ears, that's great too. Glad you're here. But you don't see that I've got a fuzzy blanket here. So hopefully you're also having fuzzy blankets. We're in a little bit of a cold snap here in the Midwest for sure. And if you don't know who I am, welcome. I help you choose your whole self. And what the heck does that mean anyway, to choose your whole self? Well, it simply means knowing who you are, what matters to you, the stuff that you're really good at, the things you love to do, the ways that you want to feel, and being relentless in selecting those things and not talking yourself out of having those things. And when we choose our whole selves, we find that we can feel a lot more confident and we're investing in things that actually feel good to us. I was thinking about what to talk about today, and this is a topic that I've talked about lots of times, but I think it's always important to revisit. And it is about confidence. It's about how to be confident. And I'm not saying I'm like the ultimate expert on confidence, but this is something that I talk to a lot of people about on a regular basis. And it just happened again this morning. I was on a call with a young woman who's a college student, and she's entering her final semester of college, getting ready to leave the quote, college world and head into the real world. And she's like, I don't want to go into the adult world. I'm like, girl, you don't have to. Like, we can choose how adult we want to be in these lives that we select for ourselves. But she asked me, she had really good questions and was such a grounded and self-aware young woman. And she's like, how do I boost my confidence when I feel like my confidence is low? And this is a question that I get from a lot of people. Like in my work as a leadership coach, this is probably the number one question I get from new leaders who, they're in these new leadership roles and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this role, but I kind of don't know what I'm doing. And I feel like I want to do my best, which means that I need to be really confident. And the number one first question that I ask is like, well, tell me what confidence means to you. And that's exactly what I asked this young woman today. I said, well, tell me about a time when you didn't feel confident. Like, what was that like? And, give me an example. She's like, well, it was recently. I, up until this point, was just, doing my college studies. I had a part-time job on campus. But recently, I've taken on more of a bigger adult job while balancing my college studies. And also, I moved in with my boyfriend this fall. And so that's new. And I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of change in a short amount of time. She's like, I just don't feel like I'm doing any of the things really well. And I don't feel confident. And I was like, yeah, that makes so much sense that when there's a lot of new things in our world, we're not going to feel like we have the reps or the skills or the knowledge to do it. And that's going to diminish our feelings of confidence. And I think it's really important to remember that confidence is a thing that, like, it's inside of us still. So when we don't feel confident, it doesn't mean like we have a leak and all of the confidence has leaked out of us and it's gone completely. It's just that we have to remember that we do have the capability to take on difficult things and new things and challenging things. And I think this is even more challenging when we are high achieving people, when we're really smart people, because we have really high expectations on ourselves of what we believe in our ability to do and our track record of how we have been successful at all of the things that we've done. So we are our own killers of confidence because we have these really high expectations of what we should expect of ourselves entering new times, right? Or we have these assumptions of, well, this is how I did it last time and I did it really well. I don't know if I can do it again. We have these ways of killing our own confidence because our expectations are high of what we can actually achieve. And that makes it really hard. It makes it really hard because we expect this level of perfection or achievement or success. And honestly, like, I think the times when I have failed or had some missteps or didn't entirely know what I was doing and did it anyway, those are the times when I developed the most confidence. It is when you don't entirely know what you're doing, but you show up anyway. That is when you find that you will build the most confidence. I always say that confidence is the byproduct of doing courageous things. So you don't really need confidence to start. What you need is courage. You need the courage to show up. You don't have to do things perfectly. People aren't expecting perfection in, 9 out of 10 cases. They're not expecting perfection, but they are expecting you to show up. So you best show up. And how you show up is going to be based on who you are and your skills and your strengths and your experiences and your personality. And this is why it's so important to know your whole self, because when you show up as your whole self, people are going to see how like authentic and true to yourself that you are. And that's going to be way, way, way more impactful than you doing something absolutely correctly. So that's at least my perspective. Again, I'm not the expert on this, but I have observed a whole lot of people in my life. And it's the people who show up with humility and vulnerability, and they show up even if they don't know the right answer. Those are the people where I admire them. I'm like, wow, they're showing up even if they don't really know what they're doing. And that is brave and that is bold. And that demonstrates a level of confidence that I think is so underappreciated. So what I want to talk about today is how we boost our confidence. And I would say the most confident people, what I think makes some people more confident than others, is their understanding that confidence is actually a continuum. We can be feeling really good and confident and competent, and a couple days later, we can feel like, I don't know what I am doing. I do not feel good enough. Who the heck am I? And we're just kind of like paralyzed staring at the wall for a little while. I think the most confident people know that it's a continuum. You're not going to feel at a 10 all the time. You're not going to feel at a 1 all the time. You're going to feel somewhere in between pretty regularly. And knowing that that doesn't mean that you don't have any confidence, it just means that maybe you need to sit with it a little bit and ask yourself, what does confidence mean to me right here? What's making me feel like I don't have confidence? So the thing that makes some people more confident than others is their ability to know that there is a continuum of confidence. And we're going to be anywhere along that continuum at any point throughout the week. And it doesn't say anything about who we are as humans and our competence and capability. And it means more about being willing and having the courage to show up regardless of where we are on that continuum. So what I want to share with you today, again, this is a normal thing we go through. There are times when I'm feeling super confident about so much, and then other days I am absolutely not. And I'm saying that because I'm normalizing it, and hopefully, I don't want to hope that you don't feel confident, but hopefully you also feel that swing of confidence and you can see how you bounce back from it. And that is where we build our confidence in our ability to see, oh, look how I've bounced back from this difficult thing. Resilience, right? We've talked about resilience a bunch of times. So here's where I think confidence comes from, at least in my experience and the experience that I have in working with other people. First of all, confidence comes when you keep commitments to yourself. So if you say you're going to do something and you do it, you're like, oh, I showed up. I showed up. Because really, confidence is about showing up no matter what. So the more you keep commitments to yourself and you do the things that you say you're going to do, you're going to feel that momentum. When you give energy to something that matters to you, it's going to give that energy back to you. And you're going to feel that, like, I can feel it when I keep my habits. Like, I have been doing this recently. I think I may have mentioned I've been trying to create a ritual around my evening writing practice. And I cooked a really fun thing yesterday. Like, I've been trying to, again, focus on my nutrition and how I create ritual around my Sunday evening creations of food with actual nutrition in it. And it feels so good to keep those commitments to myself. So I would say that momentum that you create by doing that, it breeds more momentum. It's contagious. So that's number one. Keep those damn commitments to yourself. Know what's important to you and put energy into that. And secondly, I would say confidence comes from being unprepared, being afraid, and doing it anyway. Again, another example of showing up. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to do it. And this is sometimes where being a high achiever or a high performing person is actually going to be a detriment to you because you expect that if you're going to do something, you're going to do it 110%. And I'm not saying that your effort isn't going to be 110%, but you know what? You might make a mistake. And that's going to be okay because, again, our mistakes are how we learn from things. And so it's simply about showing up. The more stuff that you do when you don't feel totally prepared to do it, you're going to have a lot more evidence to say like, oh, look, I did remember that other time when I did that thing and I didn't think I could, but I still showed up and did it. There you go. You're going to have evidence of times when you've done it in the past. So a real dumb example that I want to share with you because I'm not afraid of a lot of things. But one thing I am always pretty afraid of is, and I'm going to be doing this later this week, is going to a place I've never been, like an office, and figuring out like, where do I park? Where's the front door? Is there a buzzer at the front door? How do I find the actual suite of the place that I'm going to? Is there a directory? Do I have to like check in with someone? For whatever reason, I just like lose all my confidence in my ability to go to a new building. And I know it sounds silly, but I just have this fear of going to new places and looking dumb. But you know what? It's okay to look dumb. It's okay to ask someone, hey, which door is this? Hey, where is the stairwell? It's okay. I don't know how many buildings I've gone into in all of these decades of my life. And you'd think like I would have the confidence to just be like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to this random warehouse in Chicago. I'll be totally fine. I don't know. I'm showing up with courage and curiosity and the understanding that I might not know how to do it perfectly, but I'm going to do it anyway. So you might have a more relevant and powerful example than going to a new building that you've never been to. But this is just an example. Again, silly stuff, but being unprepared, not knowing everything and doing it anyway is a way to boost your confidence. Just frickin' do the thing. And then again, this is another thing I talk about all the time. Another way to boost your confidence is to remember who the F you are, because you know what can knock you off your confidence game real quick is to look online at other people doing stuff. It's so silly, but we do this, whether it is on social media or maybe we're sitting in a meeting with someone and you're like, wow, they're really super smart. I just can't be as smart as them. Look how articulate they are. They seem really prepared for this meeting. You know, at the gym with your friends, there are no shortage of places where we can start comparing ourselves. And when we do that, it is a trap. It is a trap that makes us think, oh, we should be more like that person. We should be following that path. We should be eating that much protein and lifting that many heavy weights or whatever it is that you're not feeling all of a sudden good enough for. That's not helpful. And look, there's nothing wrong with admiring traits in other people, but where the trap comes in is when we think that we can just copy and paste those things from someone else onto our lives or our personalities and think that we'll, quote, be like fixed or we'll be confident or we'll be better. No, it's about noticing like, wow, what do I admire in that person and why? And how can I embody that in a way that's actually more like me? And also, what are some of the things that I do differently and do well? And how do I lean more into those rather than think I need to be more like that person? So again, it is a fine line of admiring and being inspired by other people and then noticing when you might be slipping over into that trap of thinking like, oh, maybe I should just be more like that person. If I was like them, then I'd be better, then I'd be smarter, right? So remember who you are, the traits, the strengths, the skills, the things that have gotten you to where you are today, those qualities that people love about you, like those are yours. Don't try to diminish those or turn the volume down on those. Those are yours, and I don't want you to forget them. And I do have, if you haven't downloaded in the episode notes, is the workbook I have to help you discover your values. But even if you don't want to fully like figure out your values, there are a number of exercises in that workbook that help you get closer to identifying your strengths and your passions and your convictions and those things that really matter to you, because the more that you can come back to those, the less susceptible you will be to the other people who are doing really cool stuff out there in the world. And because you're doing cool stuff too. So don't let people get you off your game. Don't let haters get you off your grind, as Willow Smith says in Whip My Hair Back and Forth. If you haven't listened to that jam in a while, check that out. And then finally, though, and this is where I would say I've made the biggest pivot. And as I'm talking here on the video, the sunshine is coming in the window in a way that's causing some light on me. But the biggest pivot I made in terms of confidence was choosing to live my life in a way that feels good to me. And it sounds silly, it sounds simple, but when you know what feels good to you and what you enjoy doing, you're going to be less likely to choose things out of obligation or because you think you're supposed to do it. And look, there's going to be plenty of things in our lives that we actually do have to do, even if we don't want to do it, because we are living in a community and we have to be responsible adults and we have to mow our lawns or whatever the things are that we have to do. But I want to ask you to think, when do you feel most like yourself? And think back over the past several weeks or months. When did you feel most like yourself? Who are you spending time with? Or maybe you're spending time by yourself. What are you making time for? What activities are you doing? Or maybe which ones are you not doing? What clothes are you wearing? How are you spending your morning? What are your morning routines? Are you listening to music? Or are you listening to news podcasts? What do you listen to? What do you eat? What kind of conversations are you having? So really pay attention, when you're feeling most like yourself, and it's going to be nuanced, right? You have to really stop and ask yourself oh, this feels really good. Or I'm losing track of time. This is great. I love what I'm doing here. Pay attention to those moments, because the more that you can choose those, the more confident you will be. Like I said, there's going to be plenty of things that we have to do because we're responsible adults. But when I made choices about what kind of career I wanted to have and how I wanted to spend my time, and did I want to be married, or did I want to have children, or how do I want to invest my time and money? Once I really got honest about what felt right for me versus what I thought I was supposed to do based on a script from society or wherever, then I really started to see the biggest shift in my confidence, because I was choosing the life that felt most like me rather than a life that I thought was out of obligation to other people. So again, I've thought about this recently, when do I feel most like myself? And I would say probably in the past 6 months, I have put a lot of time and energy and investment into building and cultivating my friendships and my social circle. And you'll notice that when you invest that kind of energy and time into something that matters to you, those dividends come back big time, massively compounded dividends. This is now a finance podcast. No, it is not. I'm not even sure I'm using those words correctly. But when you invest your time and energy into something, it is going to be reciprocated. Or if it's not, maybe you just notice maybe there's people in your life who don't need to be. So my friends, I spend as much time as I can with my friends, but also I do love a lot of alone time. So I do also prioritize that. So I'm spending a lot of time with my friends, building my social circle, making new friends, having time for coffees and drinks and lunches. My friend Jessie and I went to Bass Pro Shops on Saturday and tried on a bunch of hats, checked out some boats, bought some mace. So again, finding those people who make you feel really, really good and spend more time with them. I've been spending more time writing, doing creative stuff, listening to new music. Anyway, just more than anything, just pay close attention, notice when you're feeling good, and invest more time and energy into those things. It will boost your confidence when you are actively selecting things, whether it is at work or outside of work, that make you feel fully in the zone. So that would be my recommendation. Those are 4 high contributors to confidence. So again, so keeping commitments to yourself, being afraid and doing it anyway, remembering who the fuck you are, and then choosing to live your life in a way that feels like you. These are all going to be things that build your confidence. And if you find yourself saying, I need to be more confident and I need a little more help than this, 2 things. Number 1, I want you, just like I asked this young woman earlier today, I want you to name, what does confidence mean to me? What does it mean to me? Like, what makes me think that I don't have the confidence right now? Is it a skill or a knowledge thing that's missing? Is it my expectations that make me feel like I don't have confidence? Is there somebody in the room who I'm going to be with that triggers my intellect and my ability to think I know what I'm doing? Like, name it. What does confidence mean to you? And when do you notice this lack of confidence happening? Is it in certain rooms with certain people? What else is going on in the environment? What stories are you telling yourself? So get curious about that. Name what confidence means to you, because it's going to mean something so different to all of us. And then secondly, a practice that I tried for a while when I was in my executive leadership role, and I was told by one of my superiors that I need to have more confidence. And I was like, okay, cool. Yep, I'll just go get more confidence. I thought really long and hard about, what does it mean to build confidence? What would that look like for me? So I noticed all of the ways in which I wanted to build confidence, whether it was speaking up in meetings or just being like a more assertive in how I talked about things. And at the end of every day, just like a gratitude practice, but not, I would reflect on the day and write down 1 or 2 things that made me feel confident. So whether it was speaking up in meetings or wearing a really badass outfit that just made me stand a little taller, name those things. You're the only person who's going to know what that means. So again, name what made you feel confident and why it made you feel confident. And what did it teach you? What lesson did you learn from that? So a couple ways to keep boosting your confidence. It can feel like a really elusive thing, confidence. Sometimes we have it, some days we don't have it. Today I feel really confident about a lot of things. Tomorrow I'm going to have to find a door in a building I've never been to. So it's a continuum. Don't get down on yourself. And remember that you do not have to be perfect at things. You can simply show up. You don't have to have all the answers. You can make mistakes. The phrase "fake it till you make it" is good and bad, right? Like I like the concept of it. Like, you don't have to know all the answers, but I never want people to fake anything. I don't want you to be inauthentic. I want you to be vulnerable and wobbly and have humility. So I don't want you to fake anything, but it's really about showing up until you make it. It's like brave it till you make it instead of fake it till you make it. Just be brave and show up, and you'll eventually figure it out. And if you don't figure it out, that's cool too. Like, there's no big prize at the end of life for having the most confidence or figuring out the most stuff. So I say show up with a lot of curiosity, humility, and make it fun. Like, make it as light as possible. Show up with discipline. Be serious about the ways in which you are regularly showing up, but once you show up, make it fun. Laugh at yourself. I know I will. Maybe I'll even make a little video of myself going through a new door of a new building. Anyway, that's all I have for you. So, use this as an opportunity to talk to someone who you think is confident. Like, who is confident in your life? Like, someone you look at and you're like, wow, I wish I could be more like that. I wish I could be confident. Ask them questions. Tell me about a time when you didn't feel confident and how did you show up? Tell me one of the biggest hurdles that you went through and what you learned from it. How do you blast through the feeling of imposter syndrome? Like, have the honest conversations because none of us are confident 100% of the time. So, talk to someone who's confident. Talk to me. Tell me what you've learned. Lots of ways to connect with me on Instagram, LinkedIn. Join my email list, by the way. I've got some fun things coming up. I do not want you to miss out on them. And I think that's all I got for you today. Until next time, keep making room for what matters. Out with the old, in with the you.